Hey everyone, welcome back to another segment of Michigan Conservative Roundtable. Kim is to my right, Mac is to my left, my name is TJ, and we're just three regular people from the Great Lake state of Michigan, compelled to share our thoughts with you regarding the insanity of all this COVID-19. Just last week we went right back down into a lockdown, thanks to Governor Whitmer. Okay, and other states too went into a lockdown. New York, I think, and California too. And just like before, we started seeing do as I say, not as I do. And the most recent example, we have a list of examples we could tell you, but the most recent example is what Gavin Newsom did in California. They go into a lockdown and he goes to a restaurant for a birthday party. Well, then he's discovered. Oh, it was outside. And then after videos released, that turns out to be an out-and-out lie, and we'll use the L word. It was a lie. Yeah. Where it was indoors and they weren't social distancing either. So, it's just, and your COVID-19, if there was anything about COVID-19 that I'll tell you is, it has so brought to light in our face all the laws. Do as I say, not as I do.
Pretty much.
I mean, there's a list of laws that the DC swamp has exempted themselves from.
Yeah.
Yes.
And COVID-19, and I meant to say this in our earlier videos, COVID-19 has just put a bright light on that mindset, that lifestyle, that do as I say, not as I do. Thoughts? I'll keep rambling.
I think it definitely has. The thing is that, I don't know, we're not getting right numbers on COVID. I really firmly believe.
Another lie.
We're just being lied to, one thing right after another. COVID is real. I work with COVID. I know it's real. But how come all of a sudden the flu has disappeared?
Yeah.
No flu anywhere. What happened to the flu? This is flu season. How many people are asymptomatic? How many people have mild symptoms? How many people are hospitalized?
And if I'm not mistaken, are they conveniently glossing over the dropping death rate?
Yeah.
Because of testing, the cases are growing. The exposure rate is growing. But as that's growing, the death rate is dropping.
Right.
Hell, if we were to tomorrow test every person in the country, which is about 335 million people, we might very well have 200 million cases of COVID. Oh my God, what will we do? They keep complaining the hospitals are so busy. Here's what I want to know, and I never get the numbers because our tyrannical governor won't release them, because if she does, she'll be exposed as a further fraud that she is. But hospital visits are up. And I said, I hear something there that tells me this is BS, and that is, I want to know about hospital admissions due to COVID.
Yes.
Now, everybody goes, every scrape you get, you run to the emergency room now. If you go there, you'll sit there for hours behind people with a runny nose. So, what about admissions? How many people are actually being admitted to the hospital as opposed to just showing up and saying, I don't feel good?
And the other thing is, they continue to get paid more for COVID admissions.
Yeah.
So, someone that can barely fit into their admission criteria will be admitted, because hospitals lost a lot of money in our last lockdown.
Yeah. Well, they had to lay people off.
So they're trying to make up for that money.
My nephew's wife is a nurse, and she got laid off during COVID.
But we're not being told the whole picture. We get two brief little numbers every day, but those numbers tell us nothing.
Well, going back to your point about do as I say, not as I do, there was a picture of Gretchen Whitmer right after her press conference giving her latest orders, which the Supreme Court already told her not to do because she doesn't have the authority, that her rules after April 30th were unconstitutional. She's going to do it anyway because nobody's going to hold her accountable.
Why isn't she in jail?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, let me, or any of us, or any of you watching, let us defy a Supreme Court order and see if we aren't in jail lickety-split. Yet they just sit back and twiddle their thumbs, and a couple of them are going to be leaving office soon, and we're going to have a liberal court here in Michigan, which means we're all screwed, and they won't act.
Well, yeah, and and I thought, going way back to when this all kicked off, and you had Dr. Fauci going to the ball game without a mask, Whitmer and her husband, and the whole summer home, and you know what?
And the voting thing?
And you know what? I'd say embarrassment, but I doubt she was embarrassed.
I got off track a little bit, but my point of my last little rant was that she was photographed standing in a big group of people with no mask on after she gets on and tells us we damn well better wear one everywhere we go, including our homes.
The closing of barbershops and salons only for Pelosi to go get her hair done, and then fault the owner for entrapment or something,
Yeah.
And then the latest Newsom thing, and then when and this is so typical. This is almost liberal SOP. When caught, lie.
Yep.
When caught, lie, and it's just it really becomes lie upon lie upon lie. And of course, I'm going to throw in while I'm at it. Right at the very start, I said this way back in March and April. This was all about getting Trump. It was all about getting Trump. It was, you know what? And I'll rant on that if y'all don't stop me.
Well, to me, the whole COVID thing was, first off, COVID is a virus. Okay, it makes people sick. Okay, but the Democratic Party politicized it to
Weaponized
get Trump.
it. They politicized it and weaponized it.
And it makes me sick.
Yeah.
They have forbidden people to use medications that would save their lives, which makes me ill. They have
when you go to senior, and I know this firsthand too, by the way. You go to a senior facility, you're outside their room window. They're inside, you're outside, waving and kissing on the glass and everything else.
Yeah.
They have imprisoned our elderly.
Yeah.
That's the way I consider it. They have imprisoned them. Their mental health has declined because I see these people in these homes. They have just done so much harm. They put COVID in our nursing homes, and I figure they murdered those people.
I do too.
And I will not stand down from that.
And I want them held accountable.
They murdered those people by putting COVID in our nursing homes while Cobo Arena and Novi sat empty. There was no reason to put that in our
you've got
nursing
so
homes.
many buildings in Detroit that have been empty for 40 years. They could take some of the trillions of dollars they want to hand out to their friends and spend on renovating those buildings, and hell, afterwards, maybe you could actually use them again.
Yeah, so they politicized this and weaponized it. I think that's a good term for it. And they're continuing to use this. Now they're saying, I heard on the thing today, Biden's saying if Trump doesn't hand over now to him and waits to January, there will be millions of our people dying.
Yeah.
You know what?
BS.
That's a bunch of bull.
You're not in office. You're not the president-elect. I don't care if MSNBC says you are. Until the Electoral College votes, you are not the president-elect. You can walk around with your little BS sign. It's the office of the president-elect, which there's no such thing. And to his discredit, Trump had the same side. Obama had, and I never saw it before then. But
and here's the other thing. Until he is inaugurated into office, he is not our president.
Correct.
And he will never be my president.
You were mentioning the lockdowns for the rehabs. I have a family member that texted me. That's why I got out my device here. He texted me, everything is still the same here at Auschwitz. That's what he put on a text. Everything is still the same here at Auschwitz. Lockdown from our sweet governors. Nothing's going on here.
I have patients that want to fly out their windows. Literally, they have told me.
I had to get it out and read it because I wanted to make sure I got it right.
I have patients that have told me they want to fly out their windows because they have been locked in there, imprisoned for almost 9 months. Ridiculous.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are doing great harm to our elderly in this state.
Well, here's the thing. She's a Marxist. They're all Marxist. And if you look at history, despite what some would tell you, Marxists always kill
The elderly.
to 100 million people. Pol Pot, Mao, Stalin,
Lenin.
Lenin, go on and on. They always have to kill the people who won't cooperate or don't want to give in, or Stalin killed people who he thought might be
And
a
a lot
threat
of times
sometimes.
it's the younger generation perpetrating it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, meanwhile, which man is walking around, parading around,
Do
doing
as I
her
say,
own
not as I
thing,
do.
her own thing, putting her boat in the lake, her and her husband,
Some guys wanted to put her in the lake, and
while people are being imprisoned in this state.
Okay, have we vented?
I vented.
We have vented.
I think each of us has had a rant in this video, which is pretty good.
I think
we haven't
so.
done that before, I don't think.
Well, that's cool. All right. Hope y'all were able to endure our rant. If so, thank you. As always, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.